Greetings, retro lover. This is Ethan, aka the Ghost Mall, coming at you yet again from my home studio here, and really happy to have you with me for another video. And this video is the next installment of RETROWAVE Faves, this time for May of 2018. And this is the second episode of RETROWAVE Faves. And what I do in this series is just bring you a few of the retro-inspired songs and artists that I've been listening to lately, contemporary artists who are making retro-fueled music just like I do now in the modern era. And so, like I mentioned in the previous episode, I'm always lurking on places like SoundCloud and Bandcamp and wherever you can discover music, looking for new, old-sounding retro wave tunes and amassing a collection. I'm a big supporter of indie artists on Bandcamp and big follower on SoundCloud, YouTube, wherever. And so this month I've got 3 more retrowave tunes and artists who might be new to you to bring you, and hopefully you'll enjoy them just as much as last time. I got some good feedback on the last episode, so if you haven't checked that out, please go ahead and do it. I'll probably leave a link in the description because there were 3 awesome artists then, and I've got 3 more awesome artists for you in May as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first song and artist I want to bring to you is a new tune called The Streets Are Mine by my good friend Dimi Kaye. He is an awesome retro producer who is someone who manages to bring together 2 elements of retro music, which not a lot of producers do well, I think, together. And that is retro vintage sounding synths along with like blistering guitars. In my music, you know, I kind of tend toward different elements of the 80s, so sort of upbeat pop, synth pop, and even synth soundtrack music. But there was a ton of wicked guitar playing in the 80s, as I'm sure all of you know. And so Dimi is somebody who manages to do both extremely well. He shreds great on the guitar, and I, in a previous life, was primarily a guitar player, so I have mad respect for that. But he's also a great composer when it comes to the synth elements. And Dimi has a brand new album out. Let's see if I can bring this up for you here. It's a brand new album called Dangerous. It just came out just a few days ago, I think, actually. And it's an awesome sort of concept album in the outrun sort of synthwave vein, sort of subgenre of retro music. It features an awesome appearance by Jazzy Marscat. Shout out to Jazzy, just a big figure in the retrowave scene, somebody who, along with everybody else at Synthetics and Synthetic Sundays, were just huge, you know, supporters and figures in the scene for so long. So Jazzy appears on the Dangerous album as a radio DJ, sort of narrating this night in this neon-drenched city. So anyway, it's an awesome album from beginning to end, Dangerous by Dimi Kaye. And this tune is called The Streets Are Mine. So hope you enjoy it, and I'll just kind of chime in here and there as we go along with some of the things that I really dig about the production. Here we go. As you can tell, we already got the chugging, distorted guitar riffs. Some awesome licks. I love how this combines a wicked lead guitar melody with some awesome bright synth brass on the top. Brilliant combination. Takes you right back to some of the awesome sort of TV shows, action movies of the 80s. Could have been on any of those soundtracks. switch up to a sort of a B section here. Definitely feel like driving fast to a tune like this, right? All right, so we had a wicked guitar lead. Now we have a wicked synth lead. That was a great run right there. Love those staccato synth stabs. Very energetic. Bring back in the chugging. Eighth notes. Just an extremely energetic, nostalgic, pure 80s action kind of track. I love it. All right, so there you have it. That's our first one. That's our first track for this edition of RetroWave Faves. That is The Streets Are Mine by Dimi Kaye from the brand new album Dangerous. Like I said, from start to finish, just a brilliant, really evocative concept album that has that mixture of blistering guitars and vintage synths just down pat. So shout out to Dimi. Dimi's a good friend of mine. Props on a great new album, man. And everybody else, please go check it out. I really encourage you to do so because it's chock full of tunes just like that from beginning to end. Okay, so the next track that I have for you is a tune called Cold Heart featuring Jay Frederick, and it comes to us from OSC, also known as Opus Science Collective. Now, I've been following Opus Science Collective for quite some time now. I don't know him or them personally, actually. We've never been acquainted. I don't know if OSC is actually an individual or a collective, as the name might indicate. But regardless, they make awesome music and at copious amounts of it, too. If you visit the Opus Science Collective website, you're going to see a whole list of great albums and EPs here. And I could recommend really any one of them. What OSC does so well is a really sort of funky, warm, nostalgic kind of a sound that I really admire, and because that's really kind of my main aim with the Ghost Smalls music is to create something that sounds like that. And what they really do best, I think, is to get the sonics sounding so truly as if it was from the 80s. So without any further ado, this is called Cold Heart, featuring Jay Frederick, and it is on OSC's latest album, Kim. I think this is available from Laserdiscs Records, great label, with a lot of good material. But it's a 7-song EP, it looks like, and I've only had the pleasure of listening to 2 tracks so far. This is going to be a download I have to get really soon. But definitely, Cold Heart so far is an extremely, extremely strong track that I've been jamming out to over and over. So let's take a listen. See what I mean about that funkiness? Nice syncopation between the bass and the synth lines.
Close your eyes, love me this way. Pull me close and push me away. Say I'm in love, you let me in.
Just such a warm, evocative, nostalgic sound. The kind of tune I wish I'd written for real.
Nobody knows what you feel. You keep us all in the dark. The faceless lies that you steal drive your cold apart.
And just some really solid songwriting too. Structurally, in terms of a great hook, this song has it all. Classic song format.
You say that you want me. You say that I need someone like you. You get me on my knees and you run from the truth. Nobody knows what you feel. You're so proud of your cold heart.
Just a great blend of sort of pure analog synth kind of sounds and a classic drum machine sound.
Perfect lies are all we see. You're not
This kind of production would have been right at home in mid-80s, like Michael Jackson or any of the artists akin to that subgenre of pop. That's just sick. There's actually a nice blend of both analog synths and some digital sounds, like that digital EP, electric piano.
You're not so cold when you're in love with me. Nobody
And some delightful digital bells up high.
so proud of your cold heart. You might fool them, but you don't fool me. 'Cause when you love me, I see who you are. Perfect lies are all we see.
Ramp up the funkiness at the end with a little bit of funk guitar.
So cold, when you're in love with me.
Oh yeah, this song just leaves me with a big grin every time I listen to it. They hit that one out of the park. All right, so that's number 2 in our hit parade of RETROWAVE faves for May of 2018. That is Opus Science Collective, OSC, with Cold Heart featuring Jay Frederick. Just a great, funky, smooth, pure 80s retro sounding kind of tune. I love it, and I hope you'll check it out. Again, that's from the new record Hymn on Laserdiscs Records by Opus Science Collective. And yeah, check it out. All right, and number 3 for RETROWAVE faves for May 2018 is a track by another good friend of mine, DATAStream. DATAStream is just an incredibly talented composer, sound designer, songwriter, just an amazing guy who I have had the pleasure of interacting with on numerous occasions. Great, just friendly person as well. And he creates music that is really just extremely evocative, sort of bright, shiny, a lot of it digital kind of a sound. He has so many great records out. I don't even know where to start. Amstrad Dreams is wonderful. He has a trilogy of records that mostly instrumental stuff that you should totally check out. So definitely check out everything DataStream has done in the past. But I wanted to feature him because he's also undertaken a really cool project recently called Multi-Timbral Mondays. So DataStream is a guy who really values, has, and takes care of his true retro hardware, several retro synths. And what he decided to start doing recently over on Facebook, here's his Facebook page, is a feature called Multi-Timbral Mondays, where he's doing these live streams, producing a new track live on Facebook every Monday, using one piece of retro hardware that is a multi-timbral unit, meaning it can play multiple sounds. And it's been fascinating to watch. I've gotten to tune in live for a couple, but also I've watched them all after the fact. And so shout out, Martin. You're doing an awesome thing with Multi-Timbral Mondays, and I love the tracks as well. But it really comes down to the music, right? And what DataStream does brilliantly is to create really melodic, emotionally powerful instrumental tunes. So this one is one of the Multi-Timbral Mondays from recently called Powerless. And I just wanted to share this one with you as an example, but you should really check out DataStream's SoundCloud page and listen to all the Multi-Timbral Mondays because he's uploading them there after they're complete. So here we go. This is Powerless by DataStream from his Multi-Timbral Mondays live stream series. So again, this is all coming from one unit live. Hasn't been recorded to a DAW multi-track. It was sequenced with the hardware. This is like the pure soundtrack to my retro fantasies. If I picture myself going back in time to one of the ghost malls that I visited when it was in its heyday in the mid-'80s, I would hope that this would be playing on the speakers. So this one was composed with the Yamaha MU5 sound module. And it just blows my mind what DataStream can do with just one sort of simple sound module. In a short session, live, composing in front of people on Facebook. Just so peppy and upbeat. Takes me back in time for sure. That was a great little coda there. All right, that was Powerless by my good friend DataStream. I totally encourage you to check out everything that Martin has done. He has some great records available. I think his last album was MIDI City. That was incredible. And like I said prior to that, he did a series of three volumes called Stored Energies Technology. And they're just chock full of amazing tunes. Not just instrumentals, there's some of his tunes with lyrics, some cool, actually, vocoder melodies in there. So, yeah, drop what you're doing right now and go check out DataStream's SoundCloud page because he is a really talented retro composer. All right, there you have it. That was RETROWAVE Faves, episode 2, this time for May 2018. 3 new retro-sounding tunes from my peers composing retrowave music out there. I hope you enjoyed them, and if you did, please go back and check out last month's iteration of this. I had 3 other great tunes to feature then, and I'll put a link in the description, maybe in the cards or something for this video. And if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe to the Ghost Mouse channel. I'll be bringing you RETROWAVE Faves like this every month, and everything else I do here would hopefully be of interest to you as well. I create retrowave music myself and put all of my new tunes up here, as well as in-depth behind the scenes looks at how I produce the music, the instruments I use, my songwriting processes, the inspiration, all the sort of retro nostalgic things that are kicking around my mind that inspire me to make this music. But I want to thank you for taking the time out to be here with me today. Again, if you enjoyed this, please subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take it easy, guys.